nine, 8, 9, about that, 8 years. It at the beginning not. I pretty much understand people, but people don't understand my accent. Like if I say to you, understand, you not get it. Understand. I say understand. Can you give me the chair? You don't understand it. Can you give me the chair? This was the change.
So start slow.
Yeah.
About 10 years from now, you'll be expert.
Yay! But still, understanding with the idiom slang, that is very difficult.
Again, give it time.
Yeah.
And bad thing is, once you think you have one, the new ones come.
Yeah.
You have to run the race.
Right.
Sorry.
Hi.
How long did you say you've been here?
About 8 years.
Really never been.
But most of the difficulty I have is I speak fast. Yeah, so that's the one challenge.
Yeah, it's chilly in here. How's everyone?
Everybody's
Good.
Hey,
It's for $1, and I got 4 different kinds, and I'm gonna let everybody after dinner eat some of each kind.
where'd you get them?
Downstairs.
By the
Is
door.
it still running?
Yeah, I got a
It was
piece of
like 20
cheesecake.
minutes ago.
Somebody told me.
I think it might be till 1, so everybody read quickly. Okay.
Yes, we will dash out of here. Either one, it doesn't
Okay.
matter. Either,
Just
do you have a?
speak up often and loud.
Okay, so do you want to? Okay. I have it, if you want it bigger,
I marked it on.
you have
this
better
side.
vision than I do.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here. We just get used to each other and then the semester's over. I just think that's so unfair.
I hope next semester your time is match my time.
Well, I'm hoping next semester we can keep on going. We'll still be able to see you.
Yeah.
I will tell you, next week we have our last light lit lunch for this semester. It's about a poem called Dollar General, which is a woman's take on Christmas. We'll go with that. How's that so far? So if you'd like a copy of that, it's up here. And I think we've got everybody to check in. So let's go ahead and do this so that Mrs. Feigman and I can go buy cake, because that's really what this is all about.
It is good. I just
If
had
I didn't buy cake, I would have brought it here.
The little
Okay.
tray to the left is gluten-free, so don't go there if you don't want it.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Good. That's probably all that
They
will
told
be
me
left
that.
when
They
we
told
get
me that, and
there.
I was like, oh, I didn't take anything from there, did I? They're like, no.
Okay. The story we're going to look at today is by Robert Cover. He wrote a short story called The Waitress. Now, I don't know how much you might know about fairy tales or bedtime stories, but this is sort of a modern, urban city fairy tale. So let's take a look at this. I was going to ask a few questions at the end, but more than anything else, I'd just like to know how you react to it. Okay. Hey, sweetheart, nice batoot, says the sad-eyed taxi driver sitting at the all-night diner counter, a donut wallowing in his unshaven jowls. The waitress glares at him. She is fed up with being ogled, or else stared at in disgust whenever she bends over to pick up a dish rag. If a goat wandered in, they'd ogle the goat and say the same stupid things. She complains to the old bag lady near the cash register, to whom she has offered a free bowl of hot soup. I'm sick of it. I wish nobody could ever look at me. The bag lady turns out to be a fairy godmother in disguise, and in thanks for the soup, she raises her spoon like a wand and grants the waitress her wish, so that when she tries to hand the taxi driver his check, his head swivels sharply on his bovine neck. Is he refusing it? The waitress moves over into his line of sight, and his head pops the other way. Jesus, that hurt, he whimpers. She glances over at the bag lady, but the sweet old thing has vanished. People turn away from then on. They just can't stop themselves. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Go their heads as she passes by. Sometimes they make little yipping sounds, which adds to her amusement. She likes to stroll through busy department stores, city parks, and railway stations at rush hour, watching the heads snap away in choral waves. Sometimes, just for fun, she takes her clothes off, remembering her thrill as a child undressing in front of her bedroom window. But then, catching sight of her reflection in a shop window, the mannequins stare icily straight at her. She sees what a silly fat fool she is and stops that. At the diner, her boss, head twisting away, hands her a few small bills and tells her she's become a literal pain in the neck. The customers are complaining. She'll have to go. Which brings to mind all those cautionary admonitions about being careful what you wish for. So, jobless, she heads to a bar to get as drunk as she can on her cheapskate boss's payoff, wishing she could find someone to tell her troubles to who wouldn't turn away. Outside the bar, she comes upon a guy who does keep looking at her, a beardy panhandler, slumped against the bill, clutching a brown paper bag and a tin cup. Has the spell worn off? No, she guesses it at once. He is blind. She's not sure, but maybe she has just used up a second wish, because, glancing over her shoulder, she sees the backside of the old bag lady toddling away around a corner. She takes the blind beggar home with her, as if he were something she'd won in a raffle, feeds him and showers him, and they have a good time for a few hours. Ample is his favorite judgment after doing the Braille thing. But then she has to think about what happens next. She has no job now and 2 mouths to feed, 2 bodies to clothe and care for. His tin cup was empty, the bottle in his brown paper bag as well. His own career, like hers, has been going nowhere. Maybe that old homeless lady could help if she could find her. She may have used up 2 wishes already, and if so, has essentially wasted them both. But if the legends are true, she still has a third. If she finds the bag lady, she'll have to be careful given the old dear's wicked sense of humor. Wishing to live forever, for example, might be a nightmarishly bad choice. No need to wish for beauty if no one can see her. And perfect health's no good if she's condemned to poverty. So she decides to wish for fabulous wealth and to keep on repeating it, so as not to blurt out something stupid and end up like that couple who wished their noses into sausages. She checks the streets near the diner where she first saw her, wishing her money wish over and over, but the bag lady is nowhere to be seen. Finally, she gives up and heads instead to a liquor store to use up her last couple of bills in the best way possible, passing a bank where by chance a robbery is taking place. The heads of the thieves snap aside so violently when they rush out of the bank door towards her that they stumble and drop what they're carrying, spilling it out on the street. There are sirens, the thieves are on the run, and the money's there for the taking, piles of it. She wouldn't even have to waste a wish. Then she realizes that on the contrary, she just used up her last one. Somewhere the old bird is laughing again. If the waitress grabs up the stolen loot, she'll be on everybody's most wanted list, but if she walks away, the granting of her final wish will have been recklessly wasted. She looks up and sees that the security cameras have snapped away from her and hang by their wires. A handful of scattered bills would never be missed, but a handful is not what she wished for. If she pinched a little, she might be in more trouble than if she took it all. A couple of large, grimy shopping bags come floating by on a sudden breeze, dancing to the tune of the wailing sirens. The bag lady is still taking care of her, or teasing her. The waitress fills them, but there's money left over. Her skirt and shirt and underclothes can all be tied into bags, so she takes them off, knots them, and loads them up too. There's more now than she can drag home on her own, so when she tries to hail a taxi, the drivers can't see her for all there is to see. Luckily, she finds a guy snoozing in his parked cab. Did she wish for that? Looks like he might be the same unshaven yo-yo who was in the diner the night it all began. She heaves the bags of money into the back seat, crawls in beside them, and gives the diver, who wakes with a snort, her address. He tries to see what she has brought in with her, but his head keeps bouncing away. He grunts, reaching for the door. "Wait," she says, and drops some big bills onto the seat beside him. It's probably more raw cash than he's ever seen before. With an appreciative whistle, he pulls the door shut and asks for that address again. It's not easy getting there. Other drivers' heads, glancing their way, snap to the side, and up and down the street there are accidents. Her guy is ducking, dodging, cursing. "Hey, it's a dangerous world," she says, squatting down behind the front seat to make it easier for him, and he laughs sourly at that. At home, she'll wrestle the bags in somehow, then call up for pizza delivery and a case or two from the liquor store, put some music on, and she and the blind beggar will dance the night away. It won't exactly be happily ever after, but the bag lady never promised her that. Okay. You're not put to sleep, that's good. That's usually when you hear fairy tales at night. What did you think of this story?
I liked it. I thought it was creative and interesting.
Yeah.
Creative and interesting. What made it creative and interesting?
I wouldn't have thought to think of wishes and put it in modern day. And what can happen with just things that runs through somebody's mind. Say wish it would stop raining and then it never rains again. So that wasn't what was intended, but that's what happened.
Mhm.
And this is, I like it. It's unexpected.
Unexpected. How much of it's just that it's urban? You know, you usually think of people going into the forest and blah, 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 400 years ago, blah, blah, blah. This isn't. This is now. And the star of the show is a waitress. And Chubby, you wanted that.
Ample.
Ample.
Yes.
Not everybody got that yesterday when it says ample is his favorite judgment after doing the Braille thing. He's on checking her out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. One of the other heroes of the story, if you call him that, is the blind beggar, who seems like he has some alcohol issues too. These aren't your typical heroes. Are they heroic? Oh, I see that face. What's that face mean?
When I think of heroic, I think of someone overcoming an obstacle to meet his destiny. Is this her destiny?
Okay.
Is this her destiny?
To be dancing and drinking with the blind beggar she fell on the street. Yeah.
I think she only got one wish, first of all.
What was the one wish?
The first one, the one that and I think she made up all the other ones.
Okay, we were
She just
talking
stole it.
For the people who were here last week, probability,
Mhm.
and is it really a coincidence or is it just that you're willing to be astonished? We've got the
That
only
first wish caused the other things, and she was just seeing it as being more wishes, but she wasn't really getting the wishes. She got the one wish.
Okay, when they
Right.
snap their heads. Okay. That was one of the things we were talking about yesterday. I like her. I like the way she just rolls with everything. Whether or not the wishes truly come along or not. In a lot of fairy tales, do you remember how somebody would make the first wish and it didn't come out quite right, and then they keep trying to fix the wishes?
Yes,
Or,
yes.
you know,
I was thinking that.
it didn't work out, so this time I'll try putting it that way. No matter what happens to her, it's okay. I can work with it.
Yeah.
I mean, when people are turning their heads away from her, which I think a lot of us would find distracting, she just has fun with it. Oh my gosh, you must have been a little exhibitionist. Did you?
That would have been me. I would have tried to get it reversed. That would have been my next wish.
Yes.
Just take what you did away because I can't believe that she liked that for the rest of her life. Like I couldn't, like you could never have a intimate relationship with your kids, your husband, your anybody. Like
Unless she doesn't have them anyway.
Yeah, but you would never
Yeah.
get them. You just ruined yourself out of your life. You know what I mean? My wish would have been to get my life back.
But look at her.
Yeah.
What she does is she takes off her clothes because she thinks that's funny. And she used to do that when she was 8 anyway. And if you notice later in the story, when it's time to get more money together, the bags go floating by. That's what saves her for a while. But then she just takes off her clothes and knots them up. I mean, let's think about it, folks. How much money can you put in a bra? You know, she's got everything off now. She just rolls
Nobody
with
can
it.
see her.
She's a survivor. She's playful. She's managing, making the best. Yeah, I find her pretty amusing. I liked her too. Spirited.
Spirited. But you know what I also like? When she takes the blind beggar home and they have a good time for a while, do you notice she kind of says, "This is my guy now"?
Yeah.
She doesn't have a job, he doesn't have a job, but it says,
2 mouths
She-
to feed.
thank you. She has no job now and 2 mouths to feed, 2 bodies to clothe and care for. He's hers. He's hers. He's her responsibility now, and she's willing to take that on. What else did you know? I know you still are at the reading the fairy tale stage with your boys.
Yes.
Anything else that just struck you as kind of an amusing play on the usual fairy tale?
Well, even the ending, the happily ever after, you almost expect it to start with once upon a time, but instead we get, "Hey, sweetheart, nice patoot." So that I think is really amusing. I think that's just fun. And then these extra players here, sad-eyed taxi driver. It's not a prince, it's not a fairy godmother, it's not, even like a little mouse who's gonna turn into something with the right spell. A sad-eyed taxi driver, that's so realistic. So,
And, he's got kind of the double chins and all going on here. He's got a donut wallowing
yes.
in his jowls and just kind of crumbs and
Yeah, the
everything
author
there.
really plays with words. I like the way they describe, the author describes things.
Did you see other ones that you want to point to, Amanda?
No, but this isn't really what I just said, but what I really, for some reason, I just really like the line, "It's not easy getting them." Yeah,
Okay.
I just really like that line. I mean, it's not what I was just talking about, because what you were talking about, like the way with the donut and the way you wouldn't think to describe somebody, and like she said, sad-eyed, like that's very understandable. You relate to that.
Absolutely. I like the way she's aware of what's going on. She said, she knows, well, I've got to be careful with the wishes. It wasn't, ooh, I want a great guy now and I want him to have lots of money. It's like she just kind of rolls with having the beggar and feeling like, well, that's not too bad. She knows she's got to be careful. She says, I'll just keep repeating what I really want to say so I don't do something stupid like those other people in those other fairy tales. She realizes at times, oh, well, I did just use that wish, didn't I? It wasn't like the fairy tales where they're all upset because then they realize, or they even have to be told, oh, you just blew a wish. She's smart. I like that.
And it does start with her offering the free bowl of hot soup to the old beggar woman. So, old bag lady. Yeah. So I think at the heart, she's and loyal, like taking on the blind beggar.
I think that wish came to pass because the beggar needs to be helped. The blind beggar needs to be helped. I think it was like a role that she has to play in a lifetime, that she has to be the one to guide the beggar. That's how I feel.
It seems like she has a good heart. Okay, so she's an exhibitionist. We can deal with that. She likes to take her clothes off.
Hey, and who knows, maybe the blind beggar had just made his wish.
Ooh.
I wish that there was some nice lady to take care of me,
Maybe so.
because the old beggar lady was around, she was right around there.
Yeah, looking
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so who knows? There might be a sub-story, sub-plot.
Maybe everybody gets wishes, they just don't know it. Again, what we were saying last week, coincidence is a funny thing. Is it just that you're not seeing the bigger pattern?
It's funny, is like, I've been watching TV shows and like talking to other people, and probably just keeps getting brought back up and up and up, and I'm like, this is.
Do you think that's a
It
coincidence?
was,
No.
it was weird, because like there was this alien species, and their whole species was probability, and she just kept saying, well, there's a 23% chance that you would know what you just did, so I know I like you because you just did that. Yeah, I mean, it was so weird. I'm like,
Yeah. I like the fact that he's betting on a very old tradition. I mean, fairy tales go back even, I guess, to Aesop. But even something like the fact that she gives the bowl of soup, the free bowl of soup to the old lady, I mean, that's pre-Christian. That goes back to the Greeks with guest host xenos. If you've ever heard this expression, like, never turn someone away because you never know when that's God in disguise or an angel in disguise, or kind of like you're being tested, so you better be careful that you pass the test.
Yeah, I felt like that.
Okay.
This make me thought about the Christmas show on TV. I just watched. This woman, she just lay off from the work, and she have nothing left. Even she doesn't have cash on her now, and then she take her stuff to the car, and the guy, the baker, sitting on her way, and then he asked for, do you have $1 or something? I want to buy something to eat. And I can see that it's Santa Claus because he have very long white. And she said, I'm sorry, I don't have cash with me now. And then she just stopped and she have the first $5 bill put in the frame very nicely. And she said, this is my first dollar bill when I did the first sale. Okay, I just give that for you. And she got good wish
Yeah, I saw
from.
that movie. Her life was over. I mean, like she ran this company, like her own business, and she lost it, and she was leaving in despair. You know what I mean? Like, and he asked her for money. She's like, I don't have any money. She's like, oh wait, I do have this. And for her to give that to him at that point in her life, it was just. It was,
And you hear that often, that sometimes it is the people who are in the most financial need themselves who are the most generous. That's something across the world. It's pretty much part of all cultures, that it's what's in your heart.
Mhm.
Other things. Got a few more minutes here.
Can you brief the story for me so I can understand clearly? I know that they have the woman and the baker, and then the woman lost the job. And what is involved with the witches? I don't get that.
Okay. Again, we've got oath is, how many different languages do you know?
Just to.
Just two. Just two. I was in Northern Ireland once, and a man realized I was an American, and he said, I'd like to walk with you, I'd like to practice my English for a while. And I said, oh, that's flattering, let's do this. And he said, I want to tell you a joke. He said, what do you call someone who knows 3 languages? Polyglot or trilingual? I said, okay. He said, what do you call someone who knows 2 languages? I said, bilingual. He said, what do you call someone who knows 1 language? An American. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if we can do the story. I would do this in my 090 class.
Okay.
Okay. There's a woman who's working as a waitress. We should probably just kind of pass this around like a baton. There's a woman who's working as a waitress in a diner, not a baton, in a diner, and an old woman comes in one night and can't afford to eat, so she gives the old woman a free bowl of soup. Ira, what happened next?
She gave the soup, and then she stumbled upon that man in the taxi.
Well,
Well, he was
there's the
eating
taxi
there.
driver
The
there.
taxi driver was
Yeah,
eating
yeah.
there.
What did he do, and what did she do in return? He was checking out her what?
He was checking her out.
Yeah.
Her shape, her patootie. You're so polite. And she said, I wish they wouldn't look at me. The old woman, who's really a fairy godmother in disguise, you know that expression? Okay. She's a fairy godmother in disguise, and she says, okay, you don't want them to look at you? Done. What happens as a result?
She became invisible.
She really does, I love the way you put that, almost invisible, people can't see her. She thinks this is fun. She's taking off her clothes, she thinks this is cool until she realizes that she's fat. Like that was a surprise. She puts her clothes back on. What happens then? How do we get to the second wish? First she thinks it's funny that no one can see her.
Well, she loses her
Loses
job
her bag.
because everyone's heads have to be turning away from her.
see, that's the
And
part
it
I thought was
hurts.
interesting is
Yeah.
like normally you would think that they would go with invisible, and if it went like invisible, the whole story wouldn't have been there. You know what I mean? Like, but it wasn't invisible. It was this, and who knows why you're doing that? You know what I mean? And that. When she did that, she lost her job, and then when she lost her job, she went out and found the beggar
Because she says she goes to a bar to get as drunk as she can, wishing she could find someone to tell her troubles to who wouldn't turn away.
Mm-hmm.
It's
So
not the whole wish, it's just,
it's just she wants someone to talk to, and someone who's not going to turn away. So because he's blind,
Right.
he can't see her anyway, so he doesn't turn away from her. He's not like all the other people whose heads are having to like whip around. He doesn't see her anyway. So then he's the someone, she didn't realize she was wishing for him, but she gets the blind beggar.
Mm.
Then also, if she was beautiful initially, to say, or she was big, or she has a big butt or anything, that makes the Taizé man keep on giving her compliments. So she compliments of sizing her up. Then she now make the wish, I wish no one could look at me. And then the old lady make her look so ugly or look so irritated. So that became a new wish where people see and oh, she's ugly. And then the blind man who couldn't see her or know how ugly she is or how fat she is or how maybe she looks so big, now couldn't see her but feel that oh, I have someone to give me food every day and not go out to beg.
but they do seem to get along, they clearly have sex. He knows how big she is. When it talks about he did his braille thing, he touched her. Okay? She decides he's mine, I'll keep him, I'll take care of him. How am I going to take care of him? And now she makes what I think is the first kind of traditional wish. I need money. I mean, when you ask people if you had 3 wishes, what would you wish for? I think probably somewhere in there, most people would say, I want money. It might even be the first wish for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
So she wants some money, but when there's the bank robbery that happens, going back to your point, Amanda, because they whip their heads around, you don't know if it's a coincidence or not. Here's the last opportunity. Exactly. So you're not really sure, which I like. And I'm glad you really pointed that out. At that point, she gets the money. She's not going to be a millionaire. She's only got as much as she can carry in 2 shopping bags and in her clothes that she's turned into bags.
Mm-hmm.
She goes home, and then her idea of a great way to spend her money is to get pizza delivery and a case or 2 from the liquor store. So
And they dance.
And they dance all
They
night.
dance the night away.
I don't think they were just dancing, but we'll go with that.
Exactly.
Did you see the 3
Yes.
steps?
I think that is good for her. Just like she wants the money just enough for survival. That's it. She doesn't like want to want more and more and more. She doesn't the taker.
I think the reason I like the line, it's not easy getting there, is because I think you could take it literally or figuratively. You know what I mean? So, like because of her first wish, driving is now hard. Like, okay, but she's what you said, just going with it. You know what I mean? Say it's not easy getting there, but she's just gonna go with it anyway.
This is someone who lives very much in the moment. She isn't racked with regrets. She just rolls with it. And we should all be so tough. Anything else you wanted to add? I don't want to keep you over. Thank you so much for being here this week. We still have a little bit of candy left before we fill up the jar one last time for next week.
So next week we meet on Wednesday, but not Thursday, obviously, because Thursday's Thanksgiving. We will be closed. So hopefully you can come Wednesday. I was gonna say if you can't come on Wednesdays, this might be your last time.
So how I can come on Wednesday because I have class in Dover. So how I gonna know when is the next semester?
I want to do that.
So you might not be. What is your major?
Do they do it in Wellington?
They do have a book club. I think they do something once or twice a semester.
Because AMP is different here than in Wellington. My sister said AMP here they focus on nursing and like going dissecting things and stuff like that. And the AMP of Wellington focus more on the allied health
Okay.
ones. So she's like, make sure not to take AMP in STEM.
What's your major?
Well, it was gonna be education birth to second grade, but I'm changing it to, health information management.
Oh, okay, so it's not nursing. All right. Then you'll have
That's what I wanted
So
to
this is
say
my
to
last one?
Mrs. Beitman and to everybody. If you feel you'll still see our ads and things up, and they're still on the portal, Mrs. Beitman, make sure
Yes.
they're always there, but once we set a schedule, then what we could do, if you wanna write to one of us and just say, so what's the whole semester look like? We should be able to write back to you
I'm
and
trying to do that
tell
even
you
in
which-
December, early January,
Oh, I
to
thought
write
this
to
was a
anyone
copy
who's
of it.
come this semester.
That's just an ad for next week.
We can do that,
Okay?
because we need to sit down with
Yeah.
Mr. Sykes
And what we could
and
do
figure out our
is
schedule.
just look at the list of who's been
And
coming.
plug in,
We know who the regulars are.
yes, a thing.
Yeah,
I'll send you an email.
That would be great.
Thank you.
I thought of a book today, and my psychology teacher, I was talking to her, so I would have felt the need to tell her about this book, so I figured since I come here, I mean, it's one of my top 10 favorite books, but it's called, The Mindful Child. It's not one that is like as well known as like, The Little Prince isn't well known, but it's well known to people who like the prince. You know what I mean? But The Mindful Child is not well known to people who like to read, in my opinion.
So is it,
It's by Susan Kaiser Greenland, and she explains mindfulness better than anybody. Have you ever studied or read on mindfulness?
no,
Like,
I mean, I've